Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something today that you need to hear. Not want to, need to. Because there's a woman somewhere right now thinking she's been forgotten, thinking he ain't never coming back, thinking she didn't matter. Baby, stop. He will 100% come back. Let me tell y'all something about men that most folks don't even realize until it's too late. Men, they're out here chasing a lot of things. Money, success, status, women, validation. You name it, they get distracted, they run wild, they make foolish choices. They mess up good things thinking there's something better out there. But let me give you the truth. Straight no chaser, a man will always return to where he found both peace and purpose. You hear me? Not just love, not just beauty, but peace and purpose. Because that's rare. That's home. See, peace is not just silence. Peace is not just absence of drama. Peace is a woman who doesn't try to fix him every day, but inspires him to fix himself. Peace is when he comes home and he doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to prove anything. He can just breathe. He can just be. And I don't care how far a man runs. When he's tasted that level of comfort and connection, he's going to feel the weight of its absence wherever he goes. He can lie to himself, act like he good, but deep down, he knows he walked away from something sacred. Now let's talk about purpose. Because a man without purpose is like a ship without a sail. He can drift for years and not even realize he lost direction. But when he meets a woman who brings purpose into his life, everything changes. I ain't saying she gives him purpose. No, that's his job. But the right woman, she amplifies it. She sees his dreams before they take shape. She speaks life into him when the world speaks doubt. She reminds him what he's capable of. She doesn't push him to become someone else. She helps him become more of himself. And that kind of energy, that kind of belief, that'll haunt a man in the best way. So what happens when he walks away from that? What happens when he's foolish enough to think that kind of peace and purpose can be found anywhere else? I'll tell you, he enters the wilderness. Oh, he might not realize it at first. He might even think he's upgraded, new faces, new thrills, more fun, but soon he starts feeling empty. Because when you've had a woman who saw the man in you, who loved your soul, not just your smile, you start noticing the difference. That silence becomes deafening. That peace becomes a craving. That purpose becomes a mirror, showing him how lost he really is. That's why men circle back. That's why you'll get a text months later, maybe even years. Hey, just checking on you. You crossed my mind. I was just thinking about everything we shared. He ain't just being polite. He's testing the waters, trying to see if that peace and purpose still lives where he left it. Because no matter what he tells the world, he remembers. He remembers how you made him feel. He remembers who he was becoming when he was with you. And he remembers how he let it all slip through his fingers. Now, let me be real with you. Some men got to fall flat on their face before they understand the weight of what they lost. They got to go through heartbreak, loneliness, and a few fake connections before they finally recognize the real deal. But when they do, the memory of that peace, the taste of that purpose, it becomes something they chase again, not out of desperation, but out of hunger. They want to feel whole again. And the place they last felt that was with you. So don't underestimate what you brought to that man's life. Don't think he forgot. Men might act strong, might act distant, might even act cold. But trust me, when a man has had a woman who gave him peace and purpose, he will return. Not because he misses attention, but because he misses alignment. That's real. Let me explain some to all the ladies out there, because sometimes you don't even realize how powerful you truly are until silence becomes your strategy. When a woman gets quiet, focused, and starts leveling up without saying a word, let me tell you something, she becomes unforgettable. See, men don't forget the woman who transformed herself in peace. They might not say it, they might act like they moved on, but deep down, they're watching, they're remembering, they're wondering how in the world the same woman they thought they left behind is now the one they can't stop thinking about. There's a certain power in silence. Most people don't understand it. They think silence means you gave up, that you're weak, or that you got nothing to say. But a real man, one who's paying attention, knows silence speaks volumes, especially when it comes from a woman he once knew intimately. Because when she stops calling, stops checking in, stops trying to fix things, that's when the shift happens. That's when the glow up starts. And it ain't just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual. That woman is evolving. She's no longer stuck in the pain. She's now pouring into herself. And let me tell you, when a woman starts to invest that love she used to give him back into herself, man, that's a game changer. That's when she becomes a force. She's out here elevating her mindset, walking different, talking different. She's not out here posting quotes for attention or trying to make him jealous. She don't need to. The silence, the absence, it speaks for her. Because now he starts to notice, starts wondering why she ain't reacting like she used to. Why she ain't chasing no more. Why she ain't trying to convince him she's worth it. That's when he realizes she always was, and now she knows it too. Let's get something clear. A woman who glows up in silence is not trying to prove anything to him. She's not waiting on his approval. She's not secretly hoping he comes running back. No. She's healing, she's building, she's learning that her value ain't tied to who stays or who walks away. It's tied to who she becomes when she's alone. And the truth is that woman becomes unforgettable, not because she stayed in his face, but because she left with dignity and didn't look back. That's the kind of woman that haunts a man's memory. You ever wonder why some women, even years later, still live rent-free in a man's mind? It's not always about what they did during the relationship. Sometimes it's about what they did after. How they took that heartbreak and turned it into power. How they elevated without bitterness. How they stayed graceful while he expected revenge. That right there, that's rare. That's royalty. And that's why he can't shake her. And elements why he can't shake her. See, people think you have to yell, scream, and make noise to be remembered. But I'm telling you, there's a different kind of presence, a quiet, unshakable confidence that never leaves a man's spirit. And when that woman walks in a room, again, even if it's been months or years, he feels it in his bones. Not because she's trying to make a scene, but because her energy walks ahead of her. That's the result of leveling up in silence. The truth is, silence ain't weakness. It's wisdom. It's restraint. It's knowing when to stop explaining yourself and start upgrading your life. It's refusing to sit in rooms where you're not seen. It's letting the results speak louder than the pain. And when a woman does that, oh, believe me, he notices. He might not reach out right away. His pride might hold him back, but he notices. He compares, he replays, he regrets. So when you, as a woman, choose to level up in silence, no posts, no updates, no pleas, you become the chapter he never really finished. You become the standard he now uses to measure everybody else. And that kind of woman, she don't chase, she attracts, she don't beg, she builds. And that's why no matter where he goes, no matter who he's with, he won't forget you. Let me tell y'all something about men and value. A lot of men don't know what they really have until it's gone. That ain't just a cliche, it's the truth. Sometimes the only way a man can recognize the worth of a woman is when a presence is no longer a part of his daily life. It's that absence, that sudden silence, that missing piece that brings everything into focus for him. When a woman who was always there suddenly ain't picking up the phone, ain't checking in, ain't reacting like she used to, it sends a shock to his system. It makes him sit back and realize, wait a minute, something real is missing. You see, when you're always available, always pouring into him, always showing up, some men get too comfortable. They start thinking your loyalty is guaranteed. They take the text for granted. They overlook the way you care. They start assuming that you'll always be there no matter what. But when you walk away, when you stop giving him the energy he never earned or appreciated, that's when the shift begins. That's when he has to face the reality of life without you. And let me tell you something, baby, that reality, it hits hard. That absence becomes a mirror. It reflects everything he failed to do, everything he said wrong, everything he didn't say when he had the chance. And that mirror don't lie. While he was busy playing games, you were being real. While he was distracted, you were dedicated. While he was unsure, you were all in. But now, you gone. And that peace, that laughter, that support you gave so effortlessly is gone too. And now he's left with the silence. And the silence, that's louder than words. It's funny how a man can ignore you for days, weeks, even months, but let you go quiet, let you disappear, let you pull all that love back, and suddenly he notices. Suddenly he remembers. That's the power of absence. It don't just remove you from his world. It forces him to confront what life feels like without your presence in it. It reminds him that nothing he's chasing is matching what he lost. The dates feel dry. The conversations are surface level. The peace is gone. The energy is off. Because what you brought to his life was never ordinary. It was sacred. And now that it's missing, it feels like a wound. Now listen, a man may not admit this out loud. His pride might not let him send that text right away. He might try to pretend like he's fine. He might even post pictures, laugh with new faces, and act unbothered. But don't let that fool you. A man can be surrounded by a room full of people and still feel the emptiness you left behind, because absence reveals the emotional weight you carry. It reveals that you weren't just someone in his life. You were the light. You were the balance. You were the woman who truly saw him. And once he realizes that, it's hard to unsee it. Some of the most unforgettable women aren't unforgettable because they made a scene. They're unforgettable because when they left, they took something irreplaceable with them. They took that warmth, that peace, that genuine love, and no matter how many women he talks to after you, none of them fill that void, because what he had with you wasn't common. And absence makes that truth louder than anything you could ever say. So if you ever doubt your worth because he walked away, remember this: your absence is revealing everything your presence couldn't. It's teaching him the hard way. It's opening his eyes. Because now he's not looking at what he had, he's feeling what he lost. And that kind of realization, that kind of regret, it don't fade quick. It lingers. It plays back at night. It whispers in the quiet moments. And that's why no matter how far he runs, he'll always circle back to the memory of you. Let me break something down for the ladies out there who keep wondering what kind of message they should sing when a man is slipping away. Should you text him? Should you tell him how much you care? Should you pour your heart out in hopes he wakes up and sees your worth? No, you don't have to send anything, because confidence and self-respect, those are louder than any message you could type. That's the only message that actually sticks in a man's heart. And believe me, it don't just stick, it echoes. See, here's the thing about men. We hear words all the time. Women texting us, calling us, begging us to understand, to commit, to see them. After a while, all that blends together. But when a woman steps back, when she closes the door with grace, when she carries herself like she knows exactly what she brings to the table and refuses to sit where she's not respected, now that's loud. That speaks volumes. That shakes a man up. A woman who values herself doesn't have to yell. She doesn't have to argue or repeat herself. She doesn't need to remind you of her worth. She shows you in how she holds her boundaries, and how she doesn't chase, and how she walks away from confusion like it's beneath her. And let me tell you, a man might play tough when she leaves, but deep down, that confidence is messing with his head. He's thinking, dang, she really meant what she said. And it hits different when you realize she's not bluffing. She's not trying to get attention. She's just done. And she's not bitter about it either. She's peaceful. And that calm confidence, man, that's unforgettable. You see, when a woman has real self-respect, she doesn't settle for breadcrumbs. She doesn't tolerate half-effort, hot and cold behavior. She don't sit around trying to decode mixed signals. She knows love should be clear. And when it's not clear, she gets clear, and that clarity looks like walking away. And the moment she does, the man starts hearing her loud and clear, not through her words, but through her action. And it don't stop there. That same woman, the one who walks away with her dignity, she starts glowing, she starts leveling up, she starts shining in rooms he never expected her to be in. And while he's out here trying to figure out what happened, she's moving on. Not out of revenge, not to make him jealous, but because she knows that her life doesn't stop because one man couldn't see her worth. And now she's living the message. She's walking in it. That's why she stays on his mind. That's why her name comes up in conversations even years later. Because he remembers the one who didn't beg, didn't plead, didn't fold. He remembers the woman who stood tall, loved hard, and left when she wasn't honored. A man might not respect a woman who throws her worth at his feet, but he will always remember the one who knew her worth and never made him the center of it. That woman leaves an impression. That kind of confidence can't be faked. It's not loud, but it's firm. It's not desperate, but it's decisive. And it shows him something most women don't, that love is a gift, not a guarantee. So when you want to send a message, send it without sending it. Hold your head high, move in silence, upgrade your life, stay in your peace, let your confidence do the talking and your self-respect do the walking. because those two things speak straight to a man's soul. He may not admit it, but he hears it loud and clear. He sees it when he checks your page and notices you're glowing without him. He feels it when your energy is no longer available to him. That's when he realized she wasn't just another woman. She was the standard. And that kind of message, it don't need words. It lives forever. Let me tell y'all something about how men operate, especially when it comes to love and regret. A man's ego is a powerful thing. It's loud, it's stubborn, and sometimes it keeps him from doing what he knows is right. It'll tell him to walk away from a good woman. It'll convince him he doesn't need her. It'll even lie to him and say he can find better. But that's the ego talking. The soul, that's a whole different voice. The soul don't lie. And when that man lays down at night, when all the noise dies down and he's left alone with his thoughts, that's when the soul starts whispering. And believe me when I tell you, his soul will seek you again. See, the ego will fight against vulnerability. It'll tell him not to call. It'll tell him to act unbothered, to move on quick, to replace you like you were just a phase. But deep down, that man knows. He knows you weren't just anybody. You were the one who stood by him when he didn't even believe in himself. You were the one who made him feel like he mattered, not for what he had, but for who he was. And when that connection is real, when that bond is spiritual, emotional, deep, it don't just fade. His ego might want to forget, but his soul will not let. There comes a point when the parties stop being fun, when the attention from other women don't feel the same, when the distractions just don't hit right. That's when the soul starts remembering. It remembers the late night talks. It remembers how you looked at him like he was more than his mistakes. It remembers how your energy made him feel safe, how your love made him want to be better. And the more he tries to cover that up with ego, the more it starts to weigh on him, because the truth always finds its way back. Always. And listen, that soul searching don't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. It's him scrolling through old pictures he swore he deleted. It's him replaying your laugh in his head when he's with someone else. It's him hearing your favorite song and getting quiet. That's not weakness. That's not soft. That's memory meeting emotion. And that right there, that's the soul tugging on his heart. You see, real connection leaves fingerprints on a man's soul. And when he loses that, it don't matter how big his ego is, he's going to feel that absence. It may take weeks, months, sometimes even years, but it's coming. And that's when the pride starts to crack. That's when he starts asking himself, did I mess up something that was meant for me? And the answer more often than not is yes. But by the time he comes around to admitting it, you've already elevated. You've already done the work. You've already learned to love yourself the way you used to love him. And that right there is the moment he realizes what he really lost. Because now he's not just chasing the memory of you, he's chasing the version of himself he was when he was with you. That man who felt peace, who felt loved, who had a reason to grow. And now that you're gone, his ego ain't enough to fill that space. Only his soul knows what's missing. So don't think for a second that he forgot. Don't believe the front. That's just the ego talking. Behind the pride, behind the silence, behind the smiles on his face, that man is searching, not for another woman. He's searching for that feeling again. And the one who gave it to him, that was you. His ego might fight it, but his soul, Oh, his soul remembers. And it's going to keep seeking what it lost until he either comes back humbled or spends the rest of his life trying to replace something that can't be replaced. Ladies, let me drop a little wisdom on you right now. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. You don't chase kings. You build a kingdom he can't forget. Too many women out here wasting their time running after a man trying to prove they good enough, trying to be chosen, when the truth is, queens don't chase, they build. They build something so powerful, so beautiful, so peaceful, that the man who walked away has no choice but to remember what he gave up. A real queen knows her worth. She knows she's not here to decorate a man's life, she's here to elevate it. She don't need to remind him who she is. Her actions, her energy, her presence speak for themselves. When a woman locks in on her growth, on her vision, on her healing, she becomes a whole kingdom. And let me tell you, a man might be out here running around thinking he's the prize, but when he sees that woman building her own world without him, that's when he starts questioning everything. You see, chasing a man don't get you love, that gets you drained. But building a kingdom, that brings love to your doorstep. A woman who knows how to take her pain and turn it into power, who knows how to rise without revenge, who knows how to build without bitterness, that woman becomes unforgettable. She don't have to say, look at me now. She don't have to scream. She just shines. She moves with peace. She upgrades quietly. And that glow, that's what haunts him. You think men forget the woman who stood by them, lifted them, supported them? No, they remember her. But you know what they remember even more? The moment she stopped waiting and started building. That moment she stopped asking, why me, and started saying, watch me. Because now she's operating in her purpose. She's not waiting to be picked. She's planting seeds. She's turning her life into something so whole, so complete, that no man can walk through it without feeling like he left something divine behind. And don't get it twisted. It's not about making him jealous. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving anything. It's about choosing yourself. It's about realizing that your energy, your heart, your love, those things are sacred and they don't belong on the discount shelf. When a woman finally understands that, she stops trying to convince a man to be a king and instead focuses on being a queen with or without him. A real man, one who's grown, who's healed, who's secure, he ain't looking for someone to chase him. He's looking for a woman who's already in motion, already building, already becoming. That's the woman he respects. That's the woman he regrets losing. And when he walks through the world and doesn't feel that same energy again, that's when it hits him. That's when he looks back and sees you not just as the girl he used to talk to, but as the woman who created a space that no one else has come close to. So if he walked away, let him. If he couldn't see the value in you when you were pouring into him, let him feel the absence of your royalty now that you've pulled your energy back. Let your life speak for itself. Build your peace, your joy, your purpose so strong that it becomes a place he can never truly leave behind in his heart, because you didn't just love him, you built something with him. And now that he's gone, that space still carries your touch. That's why you don't chase kings, because any man worthy of you will recognize your kingdom and find his way back with humility. And if he doesn't, that's fine too, because your crown